Welcome to all. In a classroom, a teacher transacts different types of content. These contents can be classified into three categories: facts, concepts, and generalizations. And in order to acquire different concepts, a teacher can use different strategies. One type of strategy we are going to discuss in this session, that is teaching concept attainment model. This concept attainment model, a lot of work was done by Bruner and his associates. Based on this theoretical background, Bruce and Weil has developed a model that is known as concept attainment model. Before going into the details of concept attainment model, I would like to explain the concept of models of teaching. All of you are familiar with the term model. What do you mean by model? Models are prescriptive teaching strategies designed to accomplish particular instructional goals. It is not a substitute to any teaching skill. A model of teaching, it is a description of a learning environment. They are really models of learning. Now we will come to know in what way Bruce and Weil has defined the concept of models of teaching. According to them, a teaching model, it is a pattern or plan which can be used to shape curriculum or course, to design instructional materials and to guide a teacher's actions. Let me discuss what are the functions of models of teaching. The first function is designing curriculum or courses of study. Second one, development and selection of instructional materials. Third one, guiding teachers' actions. Now we can come to the families of the models of teaching, or otherwise we may say classification of models of teaching. The first classification, that is information processing models. Second one, personal models. Third one, social interaction models. And the last one, behavior modification model. Let me discuss each one in a gist. What do you mean by information processing models? These models aim at fostering the information processing ability in the learners. In other words, these models help the learners to seek and master information, organize it, build and test hypotheses. Let me come to the next model, that is personal models. These models stress on personal development of an individual and the development of selfhood. Next model, that is social interaction models. These models emphasize the development of capabilities for interpersonal relationships. You know that in classrooms, now we are giving emphasis for cooperative learning. So for such type of strategies, this interpersonal relationship is very much essential. This model, they stress the development of social skills. Now when we come to the next, that is the last model, that is behavior modification models. These models have evolved from attempts to develop efficient systems for sequencing learning tasks and shaping behavior by manipulating stimulus, response and reinforcement. So when we go, what are the models that a teacher can adopt in a classroom? As a teacher, among the categories of information processing models, it comes inductive thinking model, concept attainment model, advanced organizer model, inquiry training model and synetic model. Next, under the category of social family model, it comes group investigation model, jurisprudential inquiry model. The next one, that is personal models, non-directive teaching model comes under this category. And the last one, behavior modification model, simulation model. You know that we may take in a classroom a teaching, demonstration of teaching that is act as a simulation type. So we have discussed different classification of models of teaching. Now we will go to the fundamental elements of concept attainment model. What are the fundamental elements that is required in concept attainment model? The first one, that is orientation of the model, is very much needed. What do you mean by this orientation of the model? It describes the goals and objectives of the model, the theoretical assumptions, and the principles and major concepts underlying the model. So we can say there should be a learning environment in a classroom. So this, through the orientation of the model, it gives description of the environment. The second component, that is syntax, it describes the model in action. That is, any model, it will go through different sequence of activities and we term it as phases. Each model has a distinct flow of phases. And the third component, that is social system. The social system describes the roles and relationships of student and teacher and the kind of norms that are encouraged. When you take, for example, some models, that is the group investigation type, here the teacher has to act as a facilitator. But in inquiry training model, the main source of information must be the teacher. The next component, that is principles of reaction. This aspect tells how to regard the learner and how to respond to what the learner does. And the next component, that is support system. This component describes the supporting conditions necessary to attain the goals of the model. Sometimes the support system must be provided in the form of books, films, self-instructional materials, etc. And the next component, that is applications of the model. Some models are designed to develop only social relationships, whereas some others are designed to develop social development alongside academic and personal development. Now we will come to the last component, the fundamental element of models of teaching, that is instructional and nurturant effects. What we mean by this instructional effect? The instructional effects are those directly achieved by leading the learner in certain directions. Nurturing effects come from experiencing the environment created by the model. One particular model I would like to discuss in detail, that is concept attainment model. And this model, it belongs to the family of information processing family only. And this model, it was developed by Bruner and his associates, and based on his theoretical assumption, Joyce and Weil, Bruce Joyce and Marsha Weil has developed this concept attainment model. So before detailing the essence of concept attainment model, let me discuss what is a concept. When we hear the term concept, a concept means a class of stimuli having common characteristics. And we can see that concepts may be of different types. Regarding the types of concept, we can classify it as conjunctive concept, distinctive concept, and relational concept. What do you mean by this conjunctive concept? This conjunctive concept means the concepts define by the presence of one or more essential attributes. Such concepts are known as conjunctive concepts. And we know that such type of concepts are always connected with the other by the term and. Whereas in distinctive concepts, all essential attributes may not be present. There may be presence of some attributes and the absence of other attributes. And the last one, that is the relational concept. It shows the relationship between the exemplars and some form of entity. For example, father, mother. There is a relationship and there are two persons there. And in the midst we can see the relationship also. So this is all about the concept. And when we come to the concept attainment model, there are certain categorization process. Categorizing process of concept attainment model can be divided into two, that is concept formation and concept attainment. Concept formation means new categories are formed, and concept attainment means the concepts already exist are attained. That is known as concept attainment. And there are certain elements that are very much common or essential for a concept. The first one is the name. When we think of the name, it is the term given to a category. That is the meaning of name here. Next one, examples. Examples, they are the instances of the concept. And in the case of examples, we can see positive examples and negative examples. Positive examples denote what the concept is, and the negative examples denote what the concept is not. And the next element of a concept is attributes. Attributes, when we define, they are the characteristic features of a concept. And attributes also can be divided into two, essential attributes and non-essential attributes. Essential attributes are critical for that particular, they are crucial for that particular concept. And for non-essential attributes, they are not as crucial for that particular concept. For example, suppose we take a term nation, and all of us know that what are the essential attributes and non-essential attributes. When we think of a nation, we may say government will be there, people will be there, and geographical location will be there. And this government should have the power to deal with other nations. And among these, which are the essential one? The government that has the power to deal with other nations. That is the essential attribute. Whereas the non-essential attributes, suppose we take cities, there also we can see geographical location, people, everything. So this geographical location, people, they are non-essential attributes. The next element of a concept is attribute values, means the degree varying of the essential attributes. For example, take color. There are different colors, red, orange, violet, green. So the degrees are vary. That is the attribute value. And the last essential element, that is rule. Rule means the definition that we are going to give for a concept. That is the meaning of rule. And next we will discuss about the three variations of concept attainment model. The first one is reception model. The second one is selection model. And the third one is unorganized material model. So when we think of the reception model, here the teacher will present some labeled examples. Labeled means with yes or no. That is positive examples as well as negative examples. Selection model, here the teacher presents unlabeled examples. And it is the duty of the students to take one concept and say whether it is yes or the other concept whether it is no. And from that the students have to identify what is the concept. They have to test their hypothesis and at last they will come to the main concept and define the concept. And the last one, that is unorganized material model. This is not in the form of an instructional exercise. It is in the form of a discussion. Some passages might be given. From that passage, the concept students have to identify. They have to locate the concepts. Then they have to analyze the attributes of that concepts. They have to elicit the positive and the negative examples. So till now we have discussed the three variations of concept attainment model. They are reception model, selection model, unorganized material model. Now we will come to the syntax of reception model. Here in this session I am explaining the reception model only. Reception model of concept attainment model. In the reception model there are three phases. The first phase, the presentation of data and identification of concept. And in the presentation of data, the teacher will present some labeled examples. The students has to identify what type of examples, why it is yes, why it is no. Then the students have to generate hypothesis. And second phase is testing attainment of the concept. So from the examples, the students by saying yes or no, they are going to test the concepts. So here the students identify additional unlabeled examples as yes or no, and teacher confirms hypothesis, names concept and restates definitions according to essential attributes. And in the second phase, one more activity is going on. The student has to generate examples. When we come to phase 3, that is analysis of thinking strategies. In this, students describe thoughts. Students discuss role of hypothesis and attributes. Students discuss type and number of hypotheses. This is about the syntax of the concept attainment model. Social system. Here in the social system, the teacher chooses the concepts, selects and organizes the material into positive and negative examples and sequence the examples. Implementation of this model, the next element is principles of reaction. During this, the teacher presents some examples. The students test their hypothesis against each other. The next element, support system. What type of support system? Here, the support system the teacher has to give in the form of exemplars and non-exemplars. And next about the application. The use of concept attainment model, it determines the shape of particular learning activities. For instance, if the emphasis is on acquiring a new concept, the teacher will emphasize through his or her questions. That is the application level. Next, we will come to the instructional and nurturant effects. And when we go to the instructional effects that is directly influenced through the model, we can see they are nature of concepts, improved concept building strategies, specific concepts, awareness of alternative perspectives, inductive reasoning. These are the instructional effects. When we come to the nurturant effect, they are sensitivity to logical reasoning in communication, tolerance of ambiguity. So in this session, we have seen how the concept attainment model is processing. So this model is mainly used, the reception model can be used in the primary classes, whereas selection and unorganized can be used at the secondary stage. So as far in this session, I suppose that all of you have understand the meaning of concept attainment model and how it works, how the implementation or the procedure, the syntax of concept attainment model, especially the reception model.